What the search team found in the Wichita Mountains wasn't what they expected. A trail that suddenly ended in a pile of boulders, a hiking pole standing upright in the rocks, and then something else. Something no one can explain. This is episode 3, The Discovery in the Rocks. And what you're about to hear will challenge everything you thought you knew about missing persons cases. As the sky turned from blue to bruise over the Wichita Mountains, the search teams pressed on. Despite the lack of solid leads, hope remained. After all, in more than half of all missing persons cases, the person is found alive after 3 days. But with each passing hour, Eskil Mjaaseth's case grew more perplexing, which is why it felt so odd when the tracking dogs suddenly reacted to a spot just below a ridge, perched on the side of the mountain. This area was 2 miles from his last known GPS ping, but according to the lead tracker, the dogs weren't picking up an old scent. This was new. But how could that be? Eskil had vanished 3 days prior. Pushing through a curtain of scrub oak and jagged rocks, the team reached a small crevice hidden from casual view. And there, nestled between larger boulders, was something even more unexpected. A cluster of objects, tightly packed and strangely arranged. A closed water bottle, nearly full. A hiking pole stuck vertically between 2 rocks. A partially open notebook, ripped but not weathered by rain. And a flat folded piece of paper. His trail map, like it was waiting for him to return. But here's the thing. No signs of struggle, no blood, no sign of wildlife disturbance. Nothing to suggest Eskil had been here, except that everything appeared untouched. Almost as if he had left. But that couldn't be right. If he was missing, where was he? What did it mean for the rest of the search? For the lead tracker, it meant something wasn't right. All that gear had sat undisturbed in the Oklahoma heat for days, meaning it was placed there recently. Maybe within the last 24 hours. But Eskil had been missing for nearly 4 days. Who put it there and why? Around back, the team found another peculiarity. A cliff ledge overlooking a narrow canyon below. The area was off most public trails. Only the most experienced climbers or those using GPS navigation would venture here. And yet here was Eskil's gear, right on the edge. Strangely, though, there were no footprints, no signs of recent human movement, no indication anyone had been there for days. But there was something else. When one of the rangers walked past the cluster of rocks, his hands suddenly twitched toward his radio. Electrical interference. That was odd. Cell service in the mountains was spotty at best, but this was different. His dog suddenly whimpered, pressing against his leg. It wanted to go back. What's truly bizarre is that this electromagnetic anomaly has been reported before. Locals refer to it as the electrodome, a mysterious force field hanging over the Wichita Mountains. Compass needles spin wildly in circles. Compasses malfunction. Phone GPS systems lose signal. And here was the search team on the edge of it. So the question became, was this a clue or just a weird coincidence? After carefully scouring the area, the team found nothing else, and nothing else was found for days. But the sheriff's department received an anonymous tip. A hiker claimed he had seen someone in that area the day before the discovery. Someone tall wearing a red jacket like Eskil's. He said the man never looked up. He was staring at the rocks like they were speaking to him. Then he disappeared. This sighting brought a flood of questions. Did Eskil climb down into the canyon below? Was he forced? Why would he go into such a remote, dangerous area? And what was he doing there? Because here's what's so odd about the Wichita Mountains. They have dozens of unmapped caves and fissures, some leading to underground rivers, others to caverns so vast they have their own microclimates and ecosystems. It was during an aerial search of the area that the pilot spotted something strange. A vertical hole high up on the canyon wall. It wasn't a natural fissure. It was too clean. It looked man-made. But if it was a cave entrance, where was the exit? These aren't your average caves. Experts say some are so big they have their own entrances and exits. Now, at this point, the team had to consider something unthinkable. Had Eskil fallen into one of these caverns? Was he trapped somewhere beneath the surface? But what about the gear? It looked placed. That's when a veteran tracker made a horrifying observation. The water bottle had condensation inside it, indicating it was placed there within the last 24 hours. But Eskil had been missing for nearly 4 days. Whoever put it there only did so a day ago. Was it Eskil or someone else? But even stranger, the team noticed the map. Eskil carried the newer version, but the one placed in the rocks was the older version, used by locals before recent park changes. Eskil had a digital copy on his phone. So why carry an outdated printed version? And who would have placed it in such a remote area? Was it Eskil? But if so, why leave his phone behind? Now, as the search continued, the team couldn't shake the feeling they were missing something crucial. They needed to retrace Eskil's steps and find out what he was doing in such a remote part of the park. But with so many leads to chase and so little time, they had to start somewhere. In the beginning, the search team had focused on the campground where Eskil and his friends had stayed. They combed the area, finding nothing but fire pits and discarded clothes. But what if they missed something small, something overlooked in the chaos of hundreds of searches? So they went back. And in the end, it was a minor detail that caught their attention: an overturned tent peg lodged in a rock. The search team knew these pegs well. They had seen them in their own tents, but this one was bent at an unnatural angle, like it hadn't been unfastened, but ripped away. And it wasn't the sort of force that would have broken a tent. This was much stronger, powerful enough to bend metal. But here's the thing: they had seen this before. In fact, all of the signs discovered in this section of the park, including the tracks near Elkhart Lodge, matched similar details from other unsolved cases that had turned up in the most remote corners of the Wichita Mountains. Things like uprooted tent pegs, overnight campfires, mangled gear, and backpacks found on cliffs. But what does it all mean? Is there a connection? And if so, what do these signs reveal about Eskil's disappearance? As the search team pieced together the clues, a disturbing possibility emerged. Was Eskil simply lost, or was someone watching him, following him, sabotaging the search? With each passing day, the clock was ticking. With each new clue, the mystery deepened. And what they uncovered next would change everything. But first, let's take a moment to acknowledge something unsettling. We've all heard stories of hikers going missing on remote trails. But what if those trails held more than nature's beauty? What if they concealed something sinister? In the coming episode, we'll delve into theories ranging from the logical to the chillingly paranormal, all while exploring the latest updates on the search for answers in the wake of such a perplexing mystery. Stay tuned, because the journey to uncover the truth is far from over. Subscribe to our channel for more updates. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of our next release. Your support helps us continue to investigate and bring you the most compelling stories. Thank you for watching.